Toyota Gazoo Racing have confirmed its 2025 driver lineup for its World Rally Championship team. Now, you're going to have to help me here, Matt, because I want to say it's Elfyn Evans. Yes?
Yep.
Hey, that's one. So Elfyn Evans and Takamo Katsuka as well will return for the full season as the 2024 WRC2 champion. And of course, that's going to be Sami Payari, who gets a promotion up to full-time WRC with Toyota. Just getting back to a part-time program in 2024, two-time WRC champion Kyle Rovanperä will return to the series full-time after winning 4 rallies in 7 starts this year. Rovanperä said he's really excited to drive the full season again, and the time off has given him the motivation to push for another championship. Lastly, Sebastian Ogier will run part-time again in select events for the courtesy there of Toyota Gazoo Racing World Rally Team. I've probably butchered so many of them, but if he wins the championship on 4 starts, that's not a part-time season, is he? That's just he couldn't be bothered to turn for work for 3 events. That's just easy. That's like the old days of Formula 1 when you drop your worst result. That's nothing at all. But does Rovanperä enter the 2025 season as the early championship favourite? And what do you think as well of Payari moving up to the top class as well?
Yeah, I want to start out by congratulating Thierry Neuville for getting that World Rally Championship last weekend at Rally Japan. Quite a dramatic ending to the championship. I'm sure that'll be talked a little bit more about in tonight's Hots and Knots segment. What an ending to the championship season. But looking at Kalle Rovanperä, despite Thierry Neuville winning the championship this year, I think Rovanperä is easily, hands down, the championship favorite for the 2025 season. You just read his stats, Josh. It's very impressive to win 4 rallies in 7 starts. And if you look at that and you want to try to factor in the whole season, if he continued to win at that rate throughout the entire 24 season, Kalle Rovanperä would have his 3rd World Rally Championship, and I think he's definitely in the driver's seat to get his 3rd in 2025. It's been an interesting year for Rovanperä. I remember when we first talked about this on this show, when he decided, that he was going to scale back, and looking at how young he is right now, we were really surprised that a driver, this young is deciding about, hey, I want to take a break from full-time racing. We know, regardless of what championship you're racing around the world, it's a full-on grind throughout the year, preparing for all of these events, and it can take a lot of wear and tear in your body. And Rovanperä basically, decided to step away because, and try to get a reset and have more fun, find a better balance between, driving some cars for fun. I believe a few weeks ago, read a story about him driving an old F1 car. I think it was like a Red Bull F1 car. You have to correct me. Yeah, I read that correctly then. Yeah, he was having a lot of fun with that. So this year's been a year of fun for Kalle Rovanperä, and Toyota completely supported his decision to step away. And now after stepping away, he's ready to come back, lock in full-time again and try to go get another championship and World Rally Championship. And it would not surprise me if he ends up winning the championship next year. And I believe is one of his most impressive rally wins this year. When Sebastian Ogier was out, Rovanperä, he was supposed to be chilling at home, and then he had to come in, and then guess what he did? He wasn't even expected to race that weekend. He ended up winning the rally, which was super, super impressive by him. So I think Toyota has to be really excited to have him back in the full time next year. And in regards to Sami Payari, really good to see this year's WRC2 champion getting a step up. Always excited to see fresh blood, new faces, and hopefully he'll be someone who'll stick around for a long time.
Yeah, that was Latvia when Rovanperä had to come in at the last minute to replace Ogier after he crashed. He had a road accident, and he came and won the rally and dominated in some fashion, which was great. So he could have had 5 from 7, of course, because he was in the lead in Portugal when he had a momentary lapse of concentration and crashed out there. So it could have been 5 from 7, which would have been a mental stat on its own. I agree. Payari coming in is great. The ladder system working again. It's been a few years since we've had the champion come up and have a full-time proper run. So that's good. He's had a couple of runs in the team this year when they benched Katsuta for a couple of rallies, Chile and the Central European Rally from off the top of my head. He got benched, but now he's back. He had the break that he kind of needed. Looks to be refreshed. And of course, it's not long before we get going again with WRC at the end of January in Monte Carlo, which is exciting. So they're going to have 4 full-timers then, or 4 full-time cars with Rovanperä, Evans, Katsuta, and Payari. That's great, and we've got an extra full-time car. Ogier will be dipping in and out, so that's 5 Toyotas for some rallies. So that's really good. They've something we haven't really talked about over the last couple of weeks, though. We're getting rid of hybrid in WRC, much like we're doing in British touring cars. Hybrid is on its way out of everything apart from Formula One, who've locked themselves in for an immediately long run of time for no reason, and it will be completely defunct by the end of that regulation spell. But hybrid going from WRC, that hopefully will entice some more manufacturers back in. That will hopefully entice more people up from WRC, the likes of WRC2, the likes of Oliver Solberg, Martin Seks, who had a starring role in the summer, the young Latvian. So it's all positive news for the WRC. And as you mentioned, Kobe, we will get to what happened in Japan in Hots and Knots later on. There is some knots to it too, which again I will get to later on. But on the plus side, and great for Toyota that we've got 4 full-time cars for them going into 2025.
Yeah, and Josh, before we go to the next segment, wanted to jump into the hybrid discussion. The hybrids, driving costs stuff like that. Not just a problem in World Rally Championship. We saw what happened in the FI World Endurance Championship with the LMP1 class. At the end of the day, we saw the Toyota Gazoo race. Last one standing, and they basically was just a race between 2 cars, and then the non-hybrid cars, they could not keep up at all with Toyota, and that really which killed the LMP1 class. IMSA, seems to be doing well right now with the hybrids as well as the hypercar class, but that's right now. There's no telling what it's going to look like when time goes along. There's also rumors of other racing series potentially going to a hybrid engine, but based on what we're seeing, that might be something that the series will want to beware. And Roman Grosjean, recently in an interview with Racer.com, I think it's been mentioned he's on this show or the wrap-up show. Grosjean was very transparent, saying that these costs of these hybrids that IndyCar just introduced, just driving the cost way, way up, and that contributed to him losing his seat at Juncos Hollinger Racing. I mean, it hasn't been officially confirmed that he's lost his seat or anything like that, but they really need a lot of funding, and Grosjean, trying to find the bucks to keep his seat there, and it looks like he's not going to return to the number 77 Chevrolet, but for his sake, hopefully they find something, so he can stay in that car, because he did a really good job, all things considered, last season in IndyCar. And it makes me wonder, with all of the costs rising in hybrids, what's the IndyCar hybrid engine going to be like, especially with Grosjean, saying something like this. And we've also heard others in the IndyCar paddock as well, talk about how the new hybrid engine, hasn't really, necessarily been a completely positive thing